Yo, right guys, it's N60 Sean. It is the Fun Kids Gaming Show. Remember, this show is also available in podcast form if you would prefer to listen to things with your ears. The link is down in the description. Go and subscribe to it and check it out, you excellent heroes. So today on the Fun Kids Gaming Show, we are going to be predicting the 11 matches that I think are going to appear in the WWE 2K19 showcase mode featuring Daniel Bryan. You can find out more about my reaction to the footage and the news of Daniel Bryan's 2K19 showcase mode by checking out the other video that's on my YouTube channel. But to give you the gist of the game mode, essentially what you can do in the new WWE game is play through the career of WWE superstar Daniel Bryan. So you can play from his WWE debut in 2003 on Velocity against John Cena, all the way through him getting fired, getting injured, returning multiple times, all the way to his most triumphant return from retirement at Wrestlemania 34. So we know that there's 11 matches and a bonus match, so I'm just going to get into predicting what I think those matches are going to be. That's not a sentence. I'm going to get into predicting what I think those matches are. Brilliant, well done, good sentencing Sean, well done, good for speaking, excellent YouTubing. So before I made the reaction video to the new gameplay clips, I was actually just going to do this video first, and I didn't realise that 2K had been really lovely and sent me game clips. And I was thinking, do you reckon they'll go as far back as 2003? For this showcase mode? Are they going to include that? So I thought that they might do and recreated it in 2K18, and then lo and behold, 2K19 had sent me clips. Anyway, so let's chuck in the actual 2K19 clips for this. So this one's going to start off being mainly, I'm 95% sure of this because Daniel Bryan essentially told us so on Up, Up, Down, Down. He did a video behind the scenes of his little press conference in Aberdeen, Washington, and he said that you can follow my career from my debut in 2003. So I think it's safe to say that this one is going to be the first match in the showcase mode. So obviously after 2003, Daniel Bryan got fired again. That was his first time he got fired. So if it was me, I'd then, you know, in his sort of story of I needed to build back credibility, so I went around the world putting on the best matches in the entire universe. This is where I'd put in one of his indie matches, because half of the blokes who he was wrestling on these indie shows are now in the WWE. Like, his most notable one was against Hideo Itami, who was known as Kenta at the time. He had great matches against Roderick Strong, AJ Styles, Nigel Mcguinness, who's now a commentator. If it was me, I'd put one of those in there here, but I reckon they'll go straight to NXT as telling the story of this was my next chance to make it onto the main roster. So I think the next match will be his debut match against Chris Jericho on the premiere, the first ever episode of NXT. I think the next one is going to be Daniel Bryan versus The Miz at Night of Champions in 2010. I don't think they'll do the whole Daniel Bryan return against the Nexus 8-man or 16-man tag at SummerSlam. I don't think they'll put that one in. I think that would just be too complicated. And are they really going to put in all of the Nexus bros like your Michael Tarvers and your Justin Gabriels, Ryback? I think unlikely. So I think they're going to go to Daniel Bryan versus The Miz for the United States title at this point. At number 4, so obviously after this is when Daniel Bryan starts cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase for the World Championship. I don't think they're going to put the Money in the Bank match in there because, again, you got your Justin Gabriels and your Heath Slaters and a load of other people I don't think they're going to feature in the new 2K game. And also as well, I don't think they'll have the cash in it against Big Show because it was all over in like 10 seconds. Like, that's not going to be very fun to play. So I think the most fun part of Daniel Bryan's World Championship reign, a match which I think really summed up his obnoxious, ironic yesing of being World Heavyweight Champion, I think was Daniel Bryan versus Mark Henry versus the Big Show at the Royal Rumble in a steel cage, when the odds were all against Daniel Bryan and he still managed to sneak and slither out with the World Championship. I really enjoyed that match. I remember watching that live and thinking it was really, really fun. So I think Daniel Bryan versus Mark Henry versus Big Show will be the next match in the showcase. At number 5, I mean, obviously the 16-second match with Sheamus probably isn't going to be worth throwing in there. So Daniel Bryan and Sheamus actually had a really, really good match for the World Championship at Extreme Rules. A lot of people were like, why didn't you just put that match on Wrestlemania? because that was really good. They had a 2 out of 3 falls match at Extreme Rules. That was really, really good. So I think that will be the next match in the Daniel Bryan showcase. So match number 6, I think we will end up in Team Hell No territory now, because they'd obviously taken away Daniel Bryan's Yes Champ, because obviously it was getting too over. Then he formed his little alliance with Kane, with old Dr. Shelby nonsense. So we know that this is going to be in there because we've seen the footage. So I think Team Hell No winning the Tag Team Championships against Kofi and R-Truth will be the next match that you will play in the Bryan Showcase mode. Number 7, now I was torn here. Now I thought that one of the things that they might throw in was Daniel Bryan, Kane and The Undertaker versus The Shield, which happened on a Raw in the UK. Because I think they like just to throw the Shield in there, and also that was like a really, really cool Daniel Bryan moment. When I was going through all the matches, I don't think they're going to do that. I think this is when they'll go to Daniel Bryan beating John Cena for the championship at SummerSlam 2013, which was arguably one of the best SummerSlam matches of all time. It's just kind of all like SummerSlam 2013 is genuinely one of the best pay-per-views of all time in terms of match quality. It's insane. Bray Wyatt's debut, Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk match, and of course his almost near perfect Cena versus Daniel Bryan match is not remembered fondly because obviously Randy Orton turns up and spoils the party for everyone. Triple H turns on Daniel Bryan and all that sort of hokey stuff. So, but I think anyway, that aside, I think Daniel Bryan versus John Cena at SummerSlam 2013 will be the next match in the showcase mode. So what are we on now? Number 8. Number 8, I think this is where they'll sneak in Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan with the street fight. Personally, I mean, if I hadn't seen that they've confirmed that one, personally I would have thought that they might have gone for Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan at Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. So, you know, there was always that tangent of Shawn Michaels and Daniel Bryan. Shawn Michaels trained Daniel, and also a Hell in a Cell match would just be a fun thing to have in a showcase mode. I think the street fight that we saw the confirmed clip of will be the next match in the Daniel Bryan showcase. So the next one's a tricky one because I think WrestleMania 30, I think they're going to merge this into one bit. I think you'll have to beat Triple H and then go on to do the triple threat match against Randy Orton and Batista at WrestleMania 30. I think you'd have to do that all in one go. You know, they've got Tower Mode, which is a new mode that they've got where you have to fight a load of opponents one after the other. I think you'd beat Triple H and then you'd go into the triple threat match with whatever health you had left over from beating Triple H. I think that's what they'll do for that one. So yeah, I think match 9 or whatever it is going to be a merger of Triple H and Randy Orton and Batista in the triple threat match. And number 10, I think WrestleMania 31 ladder match will be thrown in. The real question is whether they include Wade Barrett and Cody, because it's tricky, isn't it? Wade Barrett's very much on World of Sport at the moment, which WWE are not a fan of, and also Cody is doing his own thing. So Stardust and Wade Barrett, you could just bump them out of the match. You could just do the ladder match with, I think it was like Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. Maybe just do that. Maybe just do a 5-man ladder match. But I still think that Intercontinental ladder match will be in the game as well. You got to have his big WrestleMania moment after returning from injury. I guess the other argument is whether they have the match where Daniel Bryan gets injured, so say, against Kane in the Extreme Rules match. We've already had an Extreme Rules match in the showcase, so I think it's going to be the ladder match at WrestleMania 31 for match number 10. And then, of course, the final match, obviously, is his big return match, Daniel Bryan and Shane at WrestleMania versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I think that's obvious that that's going to be the final match in the showcase. Which brings us on to the surprise match. They said that there's going to be a bonus surprise match. Now I think because this is celebrating Daniel Bryan's whole career, one of the things, I think most important things about Daniel Bryan was how good he was in the Indies, putting on unbelievable matches in like Ring of Honor and stuff. I think they need to celebrate that. So I think like the final task that you'd have to do in the showcase mode is go against his old boy AJ Styles. He's on the cover, so you go against AJ Styles and you have to put on a 5-star match at an indie show. That would, I would think, would be the bonus match the showcase man versus the cover man in an indie classic, all your favourites, dream match scenario, yada yada yada. That's what I do. I mean, technically, his best match, I would say, was against Kenta, otherwise known as Hideo Itami, but doesn't have the same buzz for like the wider wrestling audience. So I think the bonus match is Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles, or, and it would be a huge shout if they did do this, and I think it'd be mad not to, do a Daniel Bryan versus Nigel Mcguinness match. Stick that in there, because I think if you ask Daniel Bryan, I think some of his favourite matches would be against Nigel Mcguinness. They have some absolute classics, and also Nigel is now in the fold. He's a commentator for NXT, so I think if you really want to sort of pop the hardcore fans, I'd chuck in a Daniel Bryan versus Nigel Mcguinness match as a surprise. But I think they'll just probably go for AJ Styles. So yeah, that's what I think is going to be in the Daniel Bryan showcase mode, guys. If you agree, drop a like. If you don't agree, drop a like, but also leave a comment down below. And again, make sure you go and check out the Fun Kids Gaming Show podcast, like I said at the beginning of the show, and that's what that little icon here is for. And then you can go and get onto the link in the description and go and check that out, you excellent, wonderful human beings. And also, finally as well, thank you to everybody who's gone to check out our WWE YouTuber World Cup series over on the Mega Magazine YouTube channel, and the link to that video will be over here somewhere. And oh, there'll be a new match. There'll be a new match by the time you see this. I've been N60 Sean. You guys are all excellent. See you next time. Bye bye.